Did any man walk around Medina start approaching women trying to get married to them, or vice versa?
Brother, to be honest, I don't know because I wasn't
They
there.
didn't.
No,
They
but
didn't.
you never know.
Yes, we do know, because there's etiquettes in Islam.
Okay, bro.
There's ways to get married.
How many people have been married through this, in the coffee shop? My friend the other day.
A lot.
Exactly.
Already, is it the right way?
But they still done it. But they still done it.
But is it the right way?
How's the Northwest big up? Nine's got stabbed the other day, innit, by some Stonebridge man. So
Anyway, we're trying to have a fruitful
hey, listen. Come on. So man went back to the shop, yeah. I said, you know what? Man don't want this do-rag thing.
Everyone's saying that hair is not the sunnah.
What do you mean? Well, let me finish the thing. So I went and gave back the do-rag. The woman said to me, nah, blood, you can't return. We don't give refund. So I said, what do you want me to do? She goes, you got this money, what are you going to buy? So I said, you know what?
And everyone wants to know if that's real Montclair.
No, well, that's the most like pengest one, innit, for me, innit?
Mo,
possibly.
Can you explain to us about Mutar?
This is Mutar. Yeah, come on, bro. But CK, yeah, CK Chemical Clan. This is from America. My mum brought me this.
Come on.
CK, don't know. Yeah, Montclair. Yeah, Montclair. Come on, man. Swag. No, you get me.
What's the question?
Air Force.
What's the question you're posing?
Oh yeah, the question for you, yeah, is that once I asked you a question, yeah, about in a marriage, yeah, you said I want to marry a tall black man or something like that.
I think you got the wrong.
Oh, was that wrong person? Oh, wrong person. So, no. I'm saying.
Because I'm quite unique in my look.
Yeah, cause that's what I'm saying. There's no racism in Islam. Not you, but the girl that said that to me, I think I'm mistaken. So anyone because in the time of the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, let me tell you this story. There was a Sahaba, yeah, and he was basically he was black and he was short and he was he was Ethiopian or something, yeah, Habash. So then the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I'm gonna marry him. He goes, go to the Ansar. There was a big family, like Arab family, and he said to the family, that the woman, the most beautiful Arab woman, he said, I want her to marry this man. So at that time it was bad because the tribes were like, we're not giving him this Arab woman, to this man. Yeah, his name was Juwayber. Yeah. So the Prophet ordered them. He said, I'm the Prophet. I'm telling the tribe to give to this man. So then the woman, she said, I accept, because the woman, she was a pious believer and this guy was a believer. So because first they said no, because we only marry for the Arabs. Do you understand? So then she married this man, and then 3 days she was with this man. She came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She said, I've been with him for 3 days and he didn't come near me. He didn't touch me. I don't know what's wrong with.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, but let me finish the story.
You know when you say the Prophet's name, why do you not say at the end? What's the end?
Sallallahu alaihi wa alihi.
Yeah, why don't you not? Why don't you say the sallam?
Sallallahu alaihi wa alihi.
Why don't you say the sallam?
Wa sallam, yeah, you can say that as well. Wa sallallahu alaihi wa sallam, but I'm just making it shorter, innit?
For a reason.
Yeah, no, sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wa sallam, you can say that, but just to make sure I say sallallahu alaihi wa alihi. Like, I'm still saying the salawat for him and his family, but I'm not putting the salam just to make it shorter. Let me quickly back to the story. So then, for 3 days, the man didn't come to the woman. She was from the most beautiful Arab woman, and this man was from Habash, Ethiopia. So she told the Prophet, what's going on, sallallahu alaihi wasallam? He went to the man. He said, Juwayber, what's going on? We got you married, and now you're not going near the woman. What's wrong with you? Is there something wrong with you? He said, oh Rasulullah, Ya Rasulullah. When I got married, I couldn't believe it. For 3 days, I was praying thanks to Allah. 3 days, just thanking Allah. He goes, I couldn't believe I had this beautiful woman, because he was such a believer. So for 3 days, he was thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's how much of a believer he was. And then he was thanking. So for 3 days, and then he said, tonight I'm gonna, go near her and that. But for 3 days, he was thanking Allah. He was saying thank you. See how much that Sahabi, how much he was a believer. So the believer woman is for the believing man. That's what the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says. The believing woman is for the believing man. Al-mu'minun akfa' ba'd, for each other. Even though he was from Habash, Ethiopia, and he was like a very poor man and a short man, everything, he got the most beautiful woman. Why? Because he was a believer. The believer are for the believer.
One fat hoe. Come on.
No. I'm not saying that. Me, I love black women as well.
Mo.
Me, even I love.
Finish,
the most women I love is black women.
Mo, let her finish.
The most women I love is black women.
But let her finish.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you said that sister wanted a black man.
Yeah.
And that you shouldn't ask Muslims.
We should just go with the believer.
Okay, I'll take that back. Can I say that? No, let me explain. No, I like what you're saying. Exactly. That's not what I'm saying. What you're saying. No, no, one or two. What I'm saying, yeah, is true. what you're saying is true. What you're saying is true. Like a woman's preference, like me, I like a black woman as well, mostly. You understand? But I'm saying we should choose for the belief mostly,
Actrons, allow me.
more than for the looks.
Can't keep asking.
Like if I see a woman, she's a believer because there's a hadith from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The one who marries a woman for her looks, he will lose the looks and the money.
Mo, let me ask you a question. The last time you approached a sister, did you confused with Shani and so on and so forth?
That one that I told you about.
Yeah. Like, obviously, yeah. How much did you know about Hadith?
About Hadeen, that's the good question. Because on Instagram, there's a chick, his name is ex-hijab, yeah? No, like a girl. And she wears hijab, but she was in Ramadan, she was putting music, so I told her, don't put music, yeah, sister, you're wearing hijab.
That's a completely different.
No, what I'm saying.
Listen to the question, Mo.
Yeah. I can't.
You're sitting here on camera
Yeah.
talking about how we should marry for piety and I'm here with like 100% believe
Yeah.
that. But you obviously approach sisters in a path for marriage.
No, was
How
it?
much did you know about Hadith?
Okay, good question. For me to see someone, they say the believer, the nur is in his eyes, the beauty, you can see the light from his eyes, the believer. Whether it's a woman or a man, there's a light, you understand? The nur in his face.
So evidently a lot of sisters in the path have no coming from the eyes.
No, I'm saying possibly, the believer, you can know him, because they see mahum fi wujuhihim. For example, there's in the Quran, it says it shows on their face. What I'm saying, if there's a woman that's a believer, that's a very good question. How do you know someone's a believer from the way they look?
No. I'm saying, how did you understand that these were believing women? Because you've approached a lot of women in this path for marriage.
Okay, how do I know? Well, let me explain.
But you're not wrong.
No, that's a good question. But like, it's not X-ray thing. Like, you know, X-ray, you can see the bones. I can't see the heart. You understand? But what I can see, for example, in the story of Moses, what does it say? It says a pious woman came to Moses, and she says, "My dad wants to thank you," right? You know the story. It's in the Quran. And then she goes, "Timshi al istihya." She was walking with shyness. You understand? She had shyness and she had modesty. Do you understand? This is one of the signs of a believing woman. She's modest. She's shy. You know, like this. Yeah. So obviously there's signs for the believer. One of them, he's got the sujood. You know the thing on the head. So if someone has got this, I'm not trying to say that that's the only sign. That's one of the signs that he does a prostration. I'm not trying to big myself up. I'm just saying it's like a mark.
Not everyone gets that though.
No, I'm not saying.
You've been praying a lot of salah, mashallah.
What I'm saying, because I pray. I'll tell you why. I got that.
You pray on Karbala.
No, I pray on the. Yeah, I play on the clay.
It becomes a callous because you're praying on something very hard rather than like a path.
Yeah, but in the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they used to pray on the, you know, the mud, and then one of the Sahaba, he
Very
put.
weak hadith, but yeah, just carry on.
But there was no carpets on that. Yeah. So one of the Sahaba put his turban on his head, and he said, "No, don't put your turban on your head. Lift it up and put your forehead on the floor." You understand? That's why that when a person dies, how do they know if he's Muslim? How do they know if he's Muslim or not? From the mark on his head. So
Just on that?
No, that's one of the ways to know if he's a Muslim. It's not from the beard, by the way, because you know Jews and Sikhs have beard. I'm not trying to say it's a sunnah to have a beard, because the Prophet said.
I think it's
No, it's wajib. Yes, it's wajib. And it's fasiq who shaves the beard. I've got a box beard here, by the way.
cliche is unanimously
Yeah, but I've got the
agreed
box
that
beard,
you
innit?
can't
So if
cliche.
you really trying to follow your deen,
You have to grow a beard. Yeah, I got the box for a reason. But what I'm saying, because because our scholars say, you can have a box and that. But obviously it's controversial because we go back to the fuqaha, innit? But what I'm trying to say though, brother, is that, like I said, obviously the most luckiest person is the person who has a pious wife, innit? That's the luckiest person, bro. Of course. They said if Allah wants to give the best of both worlds, He gives him a pious wife. But it's very hard to get that, bro. I'm being honest with
You
you,
need to
bro.
walk in yourself though.
You're just approaching the number of sisters in the path. You
Just
don't know
because you assume that they're-
anything about them.
Do you know what it is, bro? You need to fix yourself, fix your phone, fix your heart. You get closer to Allah Azza wa Jal. That's it.
Very frank though, I think it's about time you stop approaching sisters because it's very uncomfortable to them.
All right, but
approaching sisters.
no.
Listen.
One second.
Listen.
When was this? I'm sorry. You said today. Did I approach anyone today?
Let me finish, bro.
All right, go on.
You also re-approached the sister they had formerly approached.
Who? When? Today? Where? When? Oh, do you mean when we're talking now? Yeah, but it's a discussion. It's not marriage. We're not talking marriage now. Yeah, but what I'm trying to say. This is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Let me say something. Why is that? Can I say something? Can I say one thing? You know when you go to the mosque, yeah? If a lot of brothers here, they're not married, yeah? If they go to the mosque, they say, Sheikh, I want to get married, yeah? Or they go to their mom and dad, I want to get married. If they're going to get a response like you, for example, I'm not trying to have a go at you, but like, oh, sorry, brother, don't ask me this question. This brother, yeah, and I'm just one second. This brother who hears this kind of from the sheikh, oh sorry, well you don't have money or something. And even though Allah says if they're poor, I will make them rich. 1 second, no, let me just explain. Let me talk chance to talk.
You didn't understand the
No,
point.
I know what she's saying. She's saying, no, I know what she's saying.
help him,
No, let me get. I'm gonna come to what I'm saying. So the brother, any brother, if I go to the sheikh in Kilburn and I say, Sheikh, can I get married? He says, sorry, I don't have. I asked him. He said, sorry, there's no women to get married. Go by. What do I do as a person? Do I go on a mismatch? I went on mismatch.
Easy.
I didn't get nothing.
Yeah.
I go.
You're basically saying you find it difficult because if you're going to places to try and do it halal, there's not
Exactly.
But what you could do is perhaps use sisters that you know to approach other sisters.
That's a good.
I just feel like, or you could maybe ask the sister or the sister that you see.
Is it alright now,
instead of
utopian
being
life?
so direct with it. Like, I mean, it just.
Can I say one story in the time of the Prophet Muhammad? One quick story.
To keep up with who you
Can I tell you one quick
Listen,
story?
before you mention your story, you answered your own question. Do you realise that? You said if you can't find a sister, you basically answered your own question. What's that? What did you mention before? If Allah wishes good for someone, He what?
Gives him a pious woman.
So who gives you the pious woman? Allah. So if you're looking for a sister, who'd you go back to? Allah. Thank you.
But there's
you
also,
answered your own question.
Okay, can I answer that quickly? Yeah. There's a verse in the Quran that says, "Wankahul ayama minkum wasalihin." Do you know what that verse means?
But who? Okay, yes.
It means marry
You
those.
said now you go to a person, he rejects you.
Yeah.
You go to that brother, he says you're poor.
Yeah.
You go to that brother, he says you're butters. You go to that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you.
No, like only
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now who do you turn back to?
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Thank you. Do you come here and start approaching sisters?
Okay, let me
There's
explain.
manners
Alright,
to the deen.
okay, let me
like,
explain.
bro.
Let me say something. In the time of the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wa
Sallallahu
there was a woman, and she said, and all the Sahaba were sitting. They were in the majlis.
Yeah.
She came to the Prophet. She said, "Ya Rasulullah, I want a husband."
Yeah.
Is there anything wrong with that? No, the Prophet said to the Sahaba, "Who from you Sahaba is going to marry her?" And one of the Sahaba, he said, "I want to marry her." He said, "What do you have?" He said, "I don't have nothing." He said, "Even if you have got an iron ring, bring it."
Yeah.
But he said, "This woman is from Jannah." Why? Because she's saying, "I want to get married."
Okay.
There's nothing
Did
wrong
the
with that.
woman walk around Medina approaching
She
men?
went to the Prophet. No, I'm saying.
The Prophet. Yes,
said-
she
and-
went to the
and
Prophet.
she said in
did
front
the
of everyone.
woman?
Yeah.
Did the woman walk around Medina, or did any man walk? Yo, your camera. Did any man walk around Medina, start approaching women, trying to get married to them, or vice versa?
Brother, to be honest, I don't know because I
They
wasn't there.
didn't.
No,
They
but
didn't.
you never know.
Yes, we do know because there's etiquettes in Islam.
Okay, bro.
There's ways to get married.
How many
There's
people have
pe-
been married through this, in the coffee shop? My
Yeah.
friend the other day.
A lot.
Exactly.
Already, is it the right way?
But they
Is it
still
the
done
right
it.
way?
But they still done it.
But is it the right way?
That's controversial.
I'm asking you. I'm
No.
asking you.
For
Is it
me-
the right way?
Well, if that's the only way, what can you do?
Don't take offense. Let's say
No,
you
no,
have-
I know what you're gonna
Let's
say.
say you have
No,
a
but I know
door.
what you're
Let's
saying.
say
I
you
know
have a
what
door.
you-
Let's say you have a
yeah.
door.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's say you have your door.
Okay.
Let's say a boy approached in a park. I started chatting to her. Got the WhatsApp.
He's got to get my WhatsApp because I'm the dad.
Thank you. The point. You understand it now? Do you understand it now?
You have to say it.
You're great. You understand it now? Do you understand it
No,
now?
but before you get,
Bro. Are you
yeah, I
understanding
understand
now?
what you're saying. I understand. But before you ask
Now
for
you
the
lot
dad's
can carry
number,
on.
before you ask for the dad's number, no, before you ask for the dad's number, you gotta say to her, "Are you gonna accept me?" Because I'm not going to.
No. You're not gonna ask. You're gonna accept.
Listen, it's a blind.
How you gonna go all the way to
No.
No, so you're gonna go all the way to her dad,
you're
and then
not.
her dad's gonna be.
Yes.
You never know. You got risk.
Bro, there's etiquette in his deen, bro. You're talking about sujood, but there's etiquette in his deen.
No, but do you see what I'm saying? No, but imagine you went to her dad, and then she's like, "I don't want you though," and you done all that.
That's it. Jog on. Ask me to out.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point. So you gotta go to the dad's number straight away. Give me the dad's number. It's like that.
Akhi,
Is that cool though?
there's etiquette.
No,
There's
it's
etiquette.
He will love it, akhi.
Is it like
No,
embarrassing?
if you go to the
Jordan,
excuse
my
me,
head
I just
splits, but
can
I'm
I have your
wearing a
dad's number? Why do you want my dad's
No,
number? I
no.
wanna.
If she give you the number, sure she wants you.
That's
Okay,
it.
then
She
you
say
It's
that.
nice side.
But listen, you can't be no chat, though.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Bro, are you trying to get married? Are you trying to get married? Do you know you put your trust in? That's it. You put your trust in.
Allah
What
says
does that mean?
do half and
What
half.
does that mean? What does that mean? According to his Quran and Sunnah. So you do according to Quran and Sunnah, and you follow that, and you stay closer to the ibad of Allah. You stay with the Sunnah.
What do you mean?
Allah will bless you with a good wife.
But
That's
listen,
it. Stop
this is
approaching
the
sisters.
Go straight to the
But can I
point.
say one thing,
Go
yeah?
straight to the point. Ask for the dash number.
Yeah, that's true, that's true.
This is
man.
not the kind of sister that you're actually looking for, right?
She gives it to you.
Because if you ask me for my
You're not this
number,
special, I'll be
you're
honest.
not going to get my number. And it's not got anything to do with how you look or whatever. It's mainly because how you would probably approach me, and your seriousness wouldn't come through. I would see that this is what happens this day and age. This is why kids are not getting married. Muslim young adults are not getting married because all they're doing is dating. They're dating. Oh, I want to, oh, you know what? Let me just see like 3 or 4 years and then I'll get married. 3 or 4 years, be celibate.
Her on the street like she's some animal.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, that's that. No, but that's no. But what I'm trying to say, that's a bit controversial. What you're saying, we're approaching something like as an animal. No, that's you can't say it because
It
if you're sitting in a
depends.
coffee shop,
No, because he
salam
can
alaikum,
he can
sister.
approach.
Just one quick question. Can I have your dad's number? Like that. If she says her dad's dead, then you have to get her granddad's number. No, serious. It's the wali. No, I swear. That's the truth. That's true. It's the wali. It's the wali al-amr, it's the granddad. And then so that.
So what's the great granddad's dead?
I've heard if the granddad and the dad are dead, then she's the wali of herself. This is what I've heard. This is what I've heard. Allahu a'lam.
يا أخي لا نكاح. If there's no wali, there's no nikah for a woman. Did you know that? Did you know that?
Who's the wali? The mum can't be a wali. The brother can't be a wali.
Okay, so she be her own wali. She's her own guardian. She gives herself away.
This is what. No,
One second.
One second.
It depends on the age of the body. But the thing is, what you said there is if they don't have a wali, then they don't get married.
No, their imam is the wali.
Yeah, that's what
But you can't say she's a wali for herself.
I've heard. This is what I have to go back to the fuqaha.
What's a wali mean? What does the wali
It
mean?
means someone who's in charge of her.
Okay, is she in charge? So how's she gonna be in charge?
Because
of
her
herself?
dad is in charge of her. If
Okay.
her dad is gone, then
Yeah.
she's that, and her granddad's gone,
Yeah.
then she's in charge of herself.
Okay, so what? So then that's when the imam comes in.
No, but that's what I'm trying to say. If regarding that, I have to go back to the scholars, the fuqaha.
The scholars explain.
Yeah, and they said this is what I've heard. They said no, she becomes wali of herself. This is what I've heard.
He told you
Okay,
this.
the scholars are saying
I
that.
can-
All right, scholars are saying
This is
that.
what-
The Prophet ﷺ,
Yeah.
who's more?
The Prophet.
He's saying that for women there is no marriage without a wali. No marriage without a wali.
Can I-
Which is why if a woman
Okay,
has no one
what do you believe in the
country,
Quran or the Hadith more? The Quran, right?
I'll
For
take
example,
both.
the Quran says in
I'll
divorce.
take both.
Okay, in divorce, the Quran says in divorce you need 2 witnesses, right or wrong? Everyone read this, yeah? Everyone
I don't know
agrees
who
with
you're
it.
asking me.
But in the Quran, it doesn't say you need 2 witnesses for marriage, does it? No, listen to what I'm saying. In the Quran, it doesn't say you need 2 witnesses for marriage.
Are you sure?
But it says,
Are you sure?
yeah, okay. Anyone who proves me wrong, I'll give them
okay.
£1,000.
Okay.
Cash.
Okay.
On my bank now. That's Alhamdulillah.
Relax. Everyone relax. One second, bro. So what about the sunnah? What's the sunnah for?
The sunnah is
Bro.
100%. The sunnah is 100%.
So why are you
But
saying
I'm
Quran says it doesn't say
I'm
this?
saying
What's
the
the sunnah
Quran,
for?
the
Dunya, I
Quran.
see you, bro.
One second. If the Quran, if it agrees with the Quran, we take it. The sunnah, if it agrees with the Quran, we take it. If it doesn't agree with the Quran, do we take it? I'm asking you. I'm just saying.
Okay.
In most cases.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
give you the ayah.
You're not understanding the point.
Do you agree with me? Do you agree with me?
No, you're not understanding the point. Sorry, bro.
In the Quran, the ayah, what they say, in arithmetic,
I beg you, delete it. You got me all day today.
you know what
No, I know, but I just said.
if she wants to marry you, and their families, they're not allowed, even they give him something, you know, they
Oh yeah,
you
I've
have
heard
to
something
allow
like
them to
that.
get
I've
married.
heard something like that.
Yeah, but
But what I stated a fact that in the Quran it states you need 2 witnesses for divorce, but you don't need 2 witnesses for marriage. And this is in the Quran. If you check, if you prove me wrong, £1,000. Anyone comes to me, qasaman billah, anyone proves me wrong, £1,000 cash. That's what I'm trying to say. So but what I'm trying in our understanding, if she's a wali of Allah of herself, we don't. She can get married. You understand? And we don't even because Islam makes marriage easy and divorce hard. That's why the throne of Allah shakes in divorce. That's why they say the throne of because Islam tries to make marriage very easy and divorce very hard. But in the last days which we're in now, divorce has become very easy and marriage has become very hard. This is one of the signs of the Yawm al-Qiyamah.
But marriage has become hard because the piety of the brothers is lacking. That's what, and the sisters as well. But and the sisters, sorry, you know, I was a bit biased there. Like, yeah, but the piety of the youth is lacking, and that's what the issue is, because they're trying to act like non-Muslims in a sense of, oh, let me date the girl for a bit, let me check her out, let me not actually involve our families, and let us try and do it, and taking away from.
But equally, they are shunned by the older generation. How many of their parents from like people of the Ummah want to go about getting married in the most halal way as well? I feel, like, alhamdulillah, in London, I feel like the youth are doing far more, like they're far more knowledgeable, they're seeking knowledge actively far more than their parents, with some families and some communities. But how many of them are equally shunned by their parents? Or, like,
That's
not
true.
going about it. Oh yeah, what outdated system is this? Or,
That's true. What are you saying? It's the parents have a big blame to the parents.
But if your marriage starts in a halal way, then it will continue to be halal, right? Would you not? But, well, I mean, obviously things happen and whatnot, but it's more blessed than one that starts with Quran.
Yeah.
So it would be better for you if you are looking for a pious wife, not you. I'm just saying.
That's a big generalisation.
Sorry.
So that statement that you make there, because let's say somebody did date and they did go out and then got married and did do a nikah. And then after you make them make that,
but this is the thing, but it
it's a bit
started,
blanket,
but
right?
no, but that started with haram. And why do they need to? This
You know,
is what I
there
need
are
to know.
many examples of that. I know in between the people that I know have had blessed marriages.
Okay, but it started with haram.
I get that. We're not disputing
but
that.
that's all
But
I'm
your whole
saying.
thing
It
is you're
started
making
with
that
haram. And
even.
also-
You're saying that.
but-
Oh no, the point that you're making. I'm not actually arguing with you. I'm just trying to say it's such a blanket statement that you made. You turned around and said that the people that dated and then went out, their marriages won't be blessed, but the people that did start, they will be blessed. The reality of it, my personal belief. Let me finish the point I'm making. My personal belief is that if somebody wants to reach the nikah and everything is halal, alhamdulillah, their life will be blessed regardless.
how is it halal?
How about if they're Sikh Tawbah? We don't know that, right? Because most of the Muslims do know that you're not allowed to date, you're not allowed to go out. Most Muslims that do that, but to make such a blanket statement and vilify
I think it's needed. You know what? To be honest, I think it's really needed, brother. I think we need to actually go back to Quran and Sunnah and stop being so relaxed and so modern.
I'm not being like that at all. What I'm trying to say.
But the reason why, let me finish, please. Right, so the reason why I'm saying that is, yeah, maybe I am making a blanket statement that seems so harsh or whatever. But why are we?
I don't think
making
it's harsh.
Or blanket statement. Why are we like? Why sugarcoat?
I'm not asking
At the end of the day, I think
you're passing judgment on people's marriages.
I'm not saying that at one point it's not going to be blessed. I'm just because we said obviously October then. But what I'm saying is it started off haram. So I'm just saying, would you not rather be
You
in a
also turned around
marriage?
and said that the one that started halal will be more halal.
Yeah, but why would you not want to be in a blessed? Why would you want to seek October if you could just do it in a blessed way in the first place? Why not? But why? Tell me why young brothers and sisters are dating. Tell me why they need to do
On an
that.
Islamic principle, we're on the same camp. Don't get me
I
wrong.
just don't
I'm not
understand.
arguing with you there. What the point I'm trying to make is that there are people that I know personally that have got married, they have dated, and their marriages have been blessed. They're blessed with children. Their children are religious, and but to turn around and the statement you made, I'm not saying I'm just slightly against making it so blanket. Oh, their lives are not blessed.
I'm not against
And we
it.
can't make that judgment.
I think it's important.
That's more my
The
point.
thing is, I think it's important.
Okay, if somebody don't have money, then when they marry, they're going to no money.
When it comes to marriage in the
No, but the judgment call is that we know it's wrong. They shouldn't have done it, right?
We justify it. We say, oh, but alhamdulillah, they now got a blessed marriage.
No, I'm
Yeah,
not saying that. The
they
brother
did
said if they do
work out for
Tawbah, they're
them.
okay.
It's a big
But we don't know if they
problem,
did
and
that,
that's
right?
the issue in the
What was the Deen sent for?
No, but if somebody
What was
going in a we're on an agreement.
That way I could do anything.
We can, no, I'm not saying you shouldn't do it.
Right, you're right.
You shouldn't do it.
But they're talking in form of education and in terms of the correct way and what's from the
No,
Sunnah.
nobody's going to argue with the correct way,
Do you
right?
understand? That's what this
No,
is.
we're in agreement.
Now,
But we can't turn around and make somebody that's once read the Nikah and is married and now in a relationship and married and has children and they go to the mosque, they pray 5 times a day, they do their fast, etc., etc. So their relationship isn't blessed. That's just a bit. To me, it sounds a bit evil.
I didn't say it isn't
You didn't
blessed.
say it like that. But
No, but this but you're reading it that way. But I also
missing from it because
I see a barakah in a lot of my friends'
But where does the
relationships.
barakah come from? Where does the barakah come from?
Agreed. Alhamdulillah, no problem. No problem. No
But then,
problem.
why not start in a blessed way? And this is what I'm saying, and why I think it's important that I am not retracting
agreeing
that
with you.
blanket statement
I agree
is
with
because let's not sugarcoat it and make it. Make what's haram halal.
No,
And I feel
nobody's
like a
making
lot-
halal. Nobody
the
said- I
thing
never
is-
said that.
The thing is, what's happening here in this day and age is like my friend just said here. A lot of parents also make what is halal haram by saying, "Oh, why are you doing this outdated?" Practice. You'll never find a husband if you don't go and see the brother. Go see the brother for a bit. Go out with him.
Go for a coffee.
That's wrong.
See, and this is the how
going with
society
coffee with a
practice-
chaperone
No,
and
but-
somebody being there.
this
There's
is
nothing
how
wrong with that, as long as you're there, right?
If you don't have money, then get no
As long as you're
wife.
going there and you're a chaperone and somebody's there, what's wrong with that, right?
So, I didn't hear that.
Saying if
If you
there's
go
a
with
third
the
As long
party,
as you're a chaperone, yeah.
There's
As long as you're a
nothing wrong with it. Yeah, but
No, the
often,
mahram's there,
But within limits, right?
obviously. So what are they going to do? I'm going to send them off to a room? No, obviously not.
Yeah, I'm not saying-
But the thing is, it depends on how extreme. What, in the modern day for people, to be honest with you, in the modern day things have become.
Why does modern day have
Akhi.
anything to do with it? This is the problem.
It's hard to agree.
Why are we acting like the modern day eradicates the Quran and the Sunnah?
It doesn't
How many would
eradicate
do
it.
Exactly, but you just
So
said-
the chaperone example is the best way to do it in a modern day.
He
He asked me a question, I had an answer
What's
to
the
you.
best way? And you, the first thing you start with is
What's the best way? We need the best way
Today, I
now.
mean, so there are two different examples. So in the olden days, somebody getting married, if you go even back 40, 50 years ago, the parents would have phoned up their uncle or their auntie or some matchmaker and said, listen, I've got a girl, you got a guy, yeah, I've got a girl and I've got a guy, they got married. Nobody saw each other.
That is
That's
easy,
the
yeah.
way it used to happen. You're trying to tell me you would like that to happen to you?
I wouldn't mind.
Then you don't mind. I know.
You know why? You know
Okay.
why, right? I mean,
Give
I'm
me your
blessed-
number. I got a guy that needs to get married, and I'll get you
But
married
the
with him
thing
randomly.
is-
I've got a friend that's looking.
But obviously, when it comes to that, what we do with that is obviously you make sure you're compatible with that person.
But how are you going to do that? You can't.
I'll tell you how you do it, right? Is you actually go by their character. So you get character
You're not going to
reference.
find that. Okay.
Well,
That's
so
fine.
you get character reference. You go by perhaps what their belief system is from you asking questions through the people that you are connected with. You can see whether or not like those
Okay,
kind of
can I-
things.
can I
right?
say I agree with that?
But
It's
holy,
very modern.
But holy, right? Very modern.
I agree with you completely what you said, but it's completely modern. Because 40 years ago, that never happened.
But then I feel that might be a cultural thing rather than a Deen
No,
and
it's not.
Islamic
I mean,
thing.
look,
because Islamically, you're supposed to do these things before you're supposed to
You've got to find if
things.
they're religious, etc., etc. And I accept that.
And there's
But
just
it is,
different-
but doing it the way you're getting a character reference, all this sort of stuff, that's very recent. In the olden days, people would just get married without seeing each other.
Culturally.
also
Very
you
much
have to
culturally.
regard the community 40 years ago.
I'm agreeing with you.
And we weren't shutting our doors on each other. And villages were raising each other's children.
Doing all
so
this
there was no
madness,
need
yeah.
for those character references because everyone tends to
I'll accept everything you say, but what I'm trying to say, we are in a modern era. There are changes, people change, right? And religion doesn't change, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And we should, I mean, in Islam, it's not forbidden to have somebody with a chaperone that can go out, as long as it's chaperone. But there's nothing wrong with that. And so if you're happy to do it that way, that's the best way to get married to somebody nowadays. So that's what my recommendation is. But I wouldn't recommend, let them date, give them the car keys, let them jump in the car and go to the local coffee shop, because they may go to a hotel afterwards. You just don't know, right? You shouldn't trust your kids explicitly, right? You should trust them to a point, but not explicitly. Don't,
I feel like you open up the door to haram as soon as you allow them
Chaperone
to
is
have.
not forbidden.
No, I feel you open up the door to haram as soon as you allow them to have interactions with each other. Like I feel like without chaperone.
But then
and
the thing
would
is
be
that the thing is, you know what?
mobile phone numbers, social media.
No, I'm not saying not giving mobile numbers. I'm not saying that.
You know what? All right, mobile
I'm not
numbers,
going that
social
Yeah, you
media.
need a phone.
I'm not going to that extent.
No, but there's so many different ways.
Yeah.
Like, so once you obviously introduce them to themselves and start dating, you open up quite a lot of, as I say, dating because it can even be chaperone dating, right? But there's also
The chaperone dating is slightly different, right? Because there's always a mahram there.
yeah?
A mahram will always be
Okay,
there. Right?
but when you look at it, obviously we're hoping that we're hoping these people that are doing this are quite pious. They're not going to be deceitful and open up social media accounts. But often that happens. The switching of social media accounts.
Well, you've got two choices. Either you don't do it, if the girl doesn't want it or the guy doesn't want it, you just don't get married. And the other choice is either we find a middle ground, right?
There is a middle ground. It's
Right.
coming soon to the UK.
But
What's
there-
the middle road? Show me.
Soon.
so you've got to think about that. You can be so harsh when no one gets married.
Only you
Like
want
Muhammad Mo.
You're gonna grab me. Come on, marry me. Not gonna
Before-
advise me.
No, there's
But you got guys. What I'm trying to say,
Well,
we
what's
need to
the-
be like fair. There are people that have dated, they have gone out, they have married,
Yeah.
and they're good Muslims today.
no, but this is. It was never said that it isn't.
I know you didn't say in a malicious
I know
intent.
you-
I understand.
You kind of come to, but I am standing with the. I'm not
not
retracting my statement, and
not
the
asking
reason
to,
being
honestly.
is because I think it is important that people say this stuff so that our children don't sit and think, oh, you know what? I can make something haram halal later on as long as I make tawbah.
So you
Do you know what I
don't-
mean? I just feel like no.
I don't think the other brother
brother
said that. The point I'm trying, I think he didn't even say that. I don't think that was his intention when he said, "How long you do tawbah?" I think that was a way out to say, look, you have to ask for tawbah from sins that you've committed regardless, right? You can't sit here and say, "Oh, I don't ever do tawbah." You got to do it. None of us are sinless,
Yeah,
right?
but but you're doing tawbah because you actually had a haram relationship, and then now you want blessings for your halal marriage, right? That's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying.
Well,
is,
then you don't have to do the
instead of
tawbah. Then you just get married, do the nikah, and live in the and never do tawbah.
No, but you wouldn't. No, but if you did it all halal, you would still do tawbah for different things, like you're saying. But you wouldn't have to do
We're
it
not.
on the
We're
fact
talking on the
your
context of marriage here, right?
You
We're
wouldn't
talking.
have to do it
but we're-
you wouldn't
I
have
get
to
that,
ask
sister.
for
What I'm trying to say
forgiveness
is,
for your marriage
I get that,
and
but
how
we're
it
talking.
started.
We're
So-
talking about the topic of marriage purely of
Yeah.
people that did do it. Because my point to you more is that there
People
are people
have
that
done it and they've got a blessed marriage.
and they have-
I don't
alhamdulillah,
deny
right?
that.
Yeah.
And the
That's
thing
my
is,
point.
they
And
would've-
I also personally don't believe just because they're married now and it came from illegitimate means according to the Islamic context, I don't believe that their lives are not blessed.
No, but
That's
I'm
my
not saying
whole
it's
point.
not, because obviously I believe that it will become blessed if you ask for forgiveness for the sins that you did. If you didn't,
Then we're
then
saying the same
I'm saying
thing.
it's not exactly. But what I'm saying is, why are we allowing that to be something that is acceptable?
I don't. You don't. But you know what? I think what we got to be careful of what's acceptable and what's not acceptable and what's reality.
No, for the youth, it's not acceptable. That is it. It's not acceptable. In Islam, it's not acceptable.
But let me tell you something now. What I see with society. Society needs to become.
Let me just say, you just mentioned the word reality. We are changing reality. You
These
can marry
current
according to the
realities.
Quran and the Sunnah, if you make it a reality. The fact that we are so accepting and we justify the current climate of Muslim youth getting married the way they currently are, it is not acceptable.
But you know, I think one of the other brothers said it very clearly. I think that's changing with the generation that's coming up now.
I don't think it is.
It's not changing. It's
I
really,
think it's
really
getting
not.
worse, if anything.
It's really not. It's 100% not.
I'm not in with the latest and current
But
generation.
the thing is, I think you should be. These are your children.
No,
these
my
are
boy.
kids.
I'll beat them up if they try to get any girlfriends.
100% be more involved in what's current and what's going
Yeah,
on.
we look
and
there
how
here
they're
today,
practicing.
listening to all the ones
Yeah,
having
of
speeches
course, yeah.
and
Mashallah.
learning, and obviously things that we say. And I said we discuss stuff as well.
But it definitely is important, and I think it's important that we don't act as if like having.
No, and this is what point I'm trying to make. I agree with you there. The thing that I always say that we should be careful. We shouldn't be quick to judge as well.
Yeah, but the thing is, my judgment isn't.
So if you're offended, or you're, I don't know if you
It's
can
not,
be.
no, I'm not offended. But
You
I'm
know, if
just,
you have a
I'm-
friend that done it,
Oh.
or a sister that done it, or a brother that done it, where they went out
I
and
would
arranged.
expect her to, or whatever, to
And they got married to the person in the end, right? Obviously, because my point is.
I'm not sitting going, oh,
Prophet ﷺ, what did he do? He gave his.
He told the brother to go and get an iron ring before he told him.
Yeah, because he said he had nothing. Yeah. So, but that's someone that's miskeen. Yeah. The Prophet ﷺ gave to his wives. He gave them
I totally agree. I'm not saying.
the equivalent, yeah, of 50 dirham. Yeah. The wealth of if you translate the gold, yeah, the wealth of dirham then now,
I personally don't
at
actually.
least, yeah, at least, like if we're doing that equivalency, yeah, it's at least 3.5k. That's what the Prophet gave to his wives in terms of money. So when the people talking about
They stay on the deen, then I don't.
telling
There's different types of people.
Yeah,
Married
believe
that
me.
were
No,
halal
this is
and haram in the methods of their marriage as well. You know, the woman's dressed funny, the guys go out and go to the beach.
No,
And this is when they had an halal marriage.
Yeah, I don't know what I'd say to them. It's obviously
water.
it's a totally
And the
different
Fatiha.
topic.
We'll beat them up, I hope.
Yeah, but
Anyway, thank you for the conversation.
Because they need the money now. Everybody needs to talk about money.